Hello, everyone. Welcome to the BettingPros PGA Podcast. I'm Pat Fitzmaurice, here with Bo McBrayer. Very shortly, we're going to be previewing the Charles Schwab Challenge from a betting perspective. First, we're going to do a quick recap of the eventful, drama-filled PGA Championship. And at the end of the show, we will give you our one-and-done picks for the week. The BettingPros PGA Podcast is sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog is the place to go for best ball fantasy football contests, but you might not have known that Underdog has golf contests too. Visit UnderdogFantasy.com or find Underdog in the App Store. And don't forget to register with the promo code BPGolf to claim your special pick and to get a first-time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. More on Underdog and its golf contest a little later. Where to start with the PGA Championship, Bo? Well, I guess we should probably mention that Xander Schauffele won the tournament, capturing his first career major. Xander rolled in a 6-foot birdie putt Sunday on the par 5 18th to edge Bryson DeChambeau by a stroke. Bo, after Rory McIlroy blew past Xander in the final round of the Wells Fargo Championship a week earlier, I mentioned my concerns about Xander's ability to close out tournaments, and you quickly came to his defense, rightly pointing out that it was less about Xander at Quail Hollow than it was about Rory just completely being out of his mind that day. And you were spot on, my friend. Xander was tied for the lead with Collin Morikawa going into the final round, and Xander kept his foot on the gas all day with a final round 65. He made 7 birdies. His only hiccup was a bogey on the par 5 10th. And let's give Xander props for an extremely clutch shot on the 72nd hole of the tournament. He put his drive in an awkward spot just outside a fairway bunker, so he had to hit a long iron approach, taking his stance in the bunker with the ball well above his feet. That is a hard shot. And Xander wasn't going to be able to get home into, but he did put the ball in the fairway about 30 or 40 yards short of the green, putting him in great position to get up and down for birdie, and that's exactly what he did. I also need to give some props to Bryson DeChambeau. Look, I'm not a big Bryson fan. There are some things about his personality that kind of rub me the wrong way, but credit where credit is due. Bryson has brought it in the majors this year, which is more than we can say for a lot of the Live Tour guys. Bryson tied for 6th in the Masters, was in contention until Scottie Scheffler's A-game just blew the field away on the weekend, and Bryson was in it till the end of the PGA, firing a 64 on Sunday and birdieing the 18th to keep the pressure on Schauffele. Well done, Bryson. And I don't know if you caught this, Bo, but there was also a video of Bryson flipping a souvenir ball to a kid after his round on Sunday. Some grown man intercepted the ball and started to walk away. Bryson was not having it, walked over and demanded that the guy give the ball back to the kid, which the guy very sheepishly did. Good for you, Bryson.
Walk of shame.
Yes, that was the walk of shame indeed. I dislike Bryson DeChambeau far less today than I did a week ago.
I think a lot of it was idiosyncratic stuff that he got so deep into his own brain a couple years ago when he was feuding with Brooks Koepka. I think a lot of that was just maturity things. He's still a young guy. What is he, 26? I don't think I was much better at 26 myself.
Same. Yeah. I mean, he had some
Bryson's
weird.
come a long way.
He has, and he's had some weird run-ins with rules officials and things like that. Yeah. But he is showing some maturity to his credit. What else? Well, Victor Hovland snapped out of his funk and got himself into contention on the weekend.
Really good.
Really good. Finished 3 shots back, but actually had a 13-footer on 18 that would have put him in a tie for the lead. Missed that and then just got sloppy with the comebacker. Morikawa, terrific for 3 rounds and just could not get anything cooking on Sunday on a day where everyone was making birdies galore. He just wasn't hitting it close enough and wasn't sinking any putts.
Nothing went down for him on Sunday. It was sad to watch because he was striping it all week. And Colin was one of my favorite picks last week, and it just didn't materialize on Sunday. For whatever reason, nothing went down, and everybody else is making birdies all over the place.
Yeah, I had a top 5 bet on Morikawa at 6-1, and pretty much thought that was money in the bank as of Saturday night.
It should have been.
wound up having to sweat it out a little bit on Sunday, but Morikawa did finish in a tie for fourth despite the final round disappointment. And oh yeah, I should probably mention that the number one player in the world was arrested before round two, led away in handcuffs after a bizarre traffic incident just outside the entrance to Valhalla. It all stemmed from Scotty trying to navigate his way around a traffic stoppage caused by a fatal crash near the club. Scotty eventually got out of jail on Friday and shot a 66, but a 73 on Sunday took him out of contention. And finally, let's talk about Valhalla itself. Bo, I saw an interesting tweet from Justin Ray of the 21st Group and The Athletic. Justin noted that the field was collectively 214 under par at Valhalla for the week, while the next lowest full field score in the history of the PGA Championship was 40 over par at Riviera in 1995. So only 254 shots lower than the next best scoring PGA. Valhalla got a lot of rain before the tournament, and the greens were soft. The course was basically defenseless despite its length. There's been some debate about whether Valhalla is a major-worthy course. Had it been firmer and faster, yeah, it would have played a little better, but I don't know, Bo. I'm not a huge fan. Not many iconic holes, like that short par 4 on the back 9 with the island green looks cool, but it's just hit an iron,
cool.
Hit a wedge.
Cool when my guy Toasty teed off on Sunday.
Toasty did. Toasty was the one guy all week who went for the green and won, hit it to
Jordan
6
Spieth
feet.
went for it too, but he dunked it.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
I didn't see that. But for most guys, iron, wedge, no danger, just kind of boring.
Well, and that's the thing with that golf course is a lot tougher. That course needs to be dried out. The last few times that it's been there, it's been in August where it's obviously bone dry. There's not going to be rain in the forecast anytime soon when it's in the late summer. But this being late spring, where you get those rain showers, softening that course out makes it go from a really tough test to the easiest major of all time. And that's the way the course is designed, is to be completely different when it's dried out. That course would have been nasty if it was dried out, because those greens being as small as they are, with the rough being as tough as it is to spin the ball, those guys didn't have to worry about spin coming out of that rough, because they knew if they hit it high enough in the air, they just let it roll out to the first cut and they could putt or chip. And again, they're going after, there were so many hole outs from wedge distances and chip ins. There were so many long putts because you don't have to worry about putting it off the green and into a collection area, which we've seen at Valhalla in years past. It's a totally different golf course when it's moist like that. And having 2 days of rain leading up to it, that took away everything that course had as far as teeth.
Yeah, so as a result, we're probably going to see lower scores for the PGA Championship than we saw not only the week before at Quail Hollow, but this week at Colonial Country Club, which traditionally does not have real low winning scores. Any other takeaways from the PGA, Bo? Anything on any of the players that captured your attention?
It was interesting to see the detractors of the course being too easy. That's weather related. It's still brought about one of the best leaderboards on Sunday that we've seen in a long time. And that is what I was interested in. I was kind of indifferent. I had a lot of stuff to do on Saturday, but Sunday was for watching golf, because I was not going to miss that showdown. And it was worth every minute I spent watching it. That final round was riveting, and I had a lot of fun watching it. I didn't care how many birdies were going off, because all the guys that were in contention, even Scotty on the final round, making his little charge from way off in the distance to another top 10 finish. It was just incredible golf, no matter how easy it was for these guys. I just don't put any stock in the course being not a major tournament, because it still brought about a very exciting finish between all of the best guys that we were looking for.
Yeah, there was some fun golf. There were I love the shot that Justin Thomas, the hometown boy, made from well above the green. Somehow he missed it. He was like, God, it seemed like 15 feet above the green on this ridge, and hold it which was just, of course, the crowd went wild. That was
insane.
A fun shot. Yeah. So we will get to the Charles Schwab Challenge in just a minute. But first, our friends at Underdog Fantasy are letting you make picks on your favorite golfers all season long. Just pick higher or lower on selected stats for 2 to 5 golfers, and you can win up to 20 times your money in a single day. You can also make rivals picks, choosing, for instance, which of 2 golfers will shoot a better score in a round. Golf picks can be combined with player stats from other sports, too. Go sign up at Underdog Fantasy with the promo code BPGolf to get your special pick and to get a first-time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. We have 3 tournaments to go before the U.S. Open, and the first of those tournaments is the Charles Schwab Challenge at Colonial Country Club in Fort Worth, Texas. I'll go quickly on the course overview since we ran a little long on the recap of the PGA. There was a lot to unpack after all. Colonial is a par 70 that will play to 7,289 yards. It's going to look a little different this year, apparently. They brought in Gil Hance to renovate the course and to make it look like the older version of Colonial. They took out some trees, they took out some sand bunkers and turned them into grass bunkers. And Colonial now has a bunch of barrancas, Bo, those dry creek beds that can help with runoff if the course gets heavy rains. But ultimately, Colonial is probably going to play a lot like it usually plays, which means tight fairways, some dog legs, small greens. Ben Hogan once said of this course, quote, "A straight ball will get you into more trouble at Colonial than any course I know. You need to be able to shape your shots on this course," is what Mr. Hogan seemed to be getting at. Recent winners at the Charles Schwab, Emiliano Grillo won here last year, beating Adam Schenk in a playoff. They'd each finish -8. In 2022, Sam Burns beat Scotty Scheffler in a playoff. They were both -9. Jason Kokrak shot -14 to win here in 2021. And in 2020, Daniel Berger beat Colin Morikawa in a playoff. They were both -15. So winning scores the last 4 years between -8 and -15. That's pretty tough. It's tough. Today's PGA Tour standards. Oh, by the way, the weather this week, mostly hot and breezy. Highs in the upper 70s with a chance of thunderstorms on Thursday with the winds of 10 to 20 miles an hour. But then on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, highs in the low 90s with winds again in the 10 to 20 mile an hour range. It's going to be cooking in Fort Worth. Bo, your thoughts on Colonial and what elements of a player's game will be especially important this week?
It's accuracy, consistent off the tee accuracy, precise iron play, and putting on bent grass. These guys play a good portion of their season on Bermuda and Poana. Bent grass is the forgotten surface. And last week we saw a lot of guys that putted well on bent grass that don't normally putt well on other surfaces. So I am filtering again for bent grass surfaces, but accuracy is everything. Avoiding the big number here is huge because take note of how everybody thought there'd be so much carnage at Valhalla because of how long it is. And now they're talking about, Valhalla's not major worthy because look at what these guys could do to it, even when it was quote unquote too long. It's not about the length. It's about how tough it is to make shots, how tough it is to get the ball in the hole. It doesn't need to be 7,600 yards to make it difficult for these guys. We've seen single-digit results from the winner of this tournament many, many times. You know why? Because the golf course is a true test of the golfing acumen. It doesn't matter how far you hit it. You can hit it 350 yards here. You might hit it 250. If you're in the fairway, you have a lot better chance of winning here because accuracy matters. And if you miss, the penalty here is very severe because of how many trees are in the way. Big post oak trees. We're talking a lot of trees. Even though they removed some of them, it's just like a mouthful of teeth. You pull a couple, it ain't gonna make it look any prettier. This course demands accuracy on every shot, and you have to be consistent. You have to be steady Eddie. It's just going to come down to who can not put themselves in trouble as often. Yeah,
this is classic Parkland golf at its finest.
Texas Parkland golf too.
We will get to the odds in just a moment, but first, if you want a chance to win a free 1-year Betting Pros premium subscription, you need to subscribe to the Betting Pros YouTube channel right now. Comment below in this video, and that's it. We'll be announcing a winner right here on the channel, so turn on those notifications so you can be alerted when new episodes are up and to claim your prize. Let's get to the odds. These are all courtesy of DraftKings as of Monday afternoon. Scotty Scheffler, who lives in nearby Dallas, is an overwhelming favorite at plus 275. Wow. I think the shortest odds we've seen on Scotty all year, in a year where Scotty has had some pretty short odds. Colin Morikawa is plus 1,200. Jordan Spieth plus 2,000. Max Homa plus 2,500. Tony Finau plus 2,800. Siwoo Kim plus 3,000. Sungjae Im, Brian Harmon, and Harris English are plus 3,500. Minwoo Lee and Denny McCarthy are plus 4,000. And Tom Hoagie, Sepp Straka, and Christian Bezuidenhout are plus 4,500. Is there anyone you like from this group, Bo?
Yeah, actually, I like a lot of these guys. I don't like them enough to bet them. I think Scotty's way too short. If you're gonna hope for and pray for an opportunity to live bet him at more than plus 500, that's what you should do. That's just a ludicrous price at a big boy golf tournament. And honestly, I was not impressed with Scotty off the tee last week. That's what kind of held him back on Saturday when he shot 73, took himself out of contention. He couldn't find a fairway to save his life. And the fairways of Valhalla are a lot wider than the ones at Colonial. Colonial is going to challenge him off the tee, accuracy-wise, consistency-wise. We know how good he is on approach. That I'm not worried about that. But I also worry about him putting on bent as his worst surface. He couldn't buy a bucket on most of the chances he got at Valhalla. That's the problem with him, is if you're outside of 8 feet, Scotty's not going to make a lot of putts. And so I'm not going to bet him anyway. But Colin Morikawa couldn't buy a putt. Jordan Spieth has immense success here, but I haven't seen his approach game be on par this year. His approach game's been atrocious this year. I'm going to go all the way down to Max Homa, start at plus 2,200. Max Homa from tee to green is outstanding, and he puts the lights out on bent compared to other surfaces. I think Max Homa is my top pick and the guy I'm going to put the most force behind on my betting card.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, Scheffler has been piping hot all year, and he does have a second and a third at Colonial in recent years. Let's see, the third last year, second in 2022. But as you said, I mean, like these odds, you just can't bet Scotty outright pre-tournament.
And if we'd seen him dominate this tournament in the past, then I'd be more comfortable with betting him at plus 300 or 400, but plus 275 for a golf tournament with a full field. It's 150 plus guys in this tournament. Scotty Scheffler, it doesn't carry that much weight. And yes, he very well could win this. You tip your cap to that. You can't just bet that in golf. You're not going to get any kind of payout unless you got $500,000 to throw down like Drake or Dave Portnoy. That's not going to be enough to really make it worth your while. It's like, yeah, you can root for Scotty Scheffler to do the unimaginable and win another golf tournament, but for most of us, we're not throwing our weight around like that. It's just not smart. You can get better odds on a baseball game or a basketball first half total. It's just not smart betting.
Yeah. Now, Spieth is interesting. He is 20-1, and he has 7 top 10s at Colonial in his last 9 appearances, including a win in 2016 and second place finishes in 2015, 2017, and 2021.
He's due.
Accuracy, Bo. I mean, you said it, like his success at this tournament has sort of
he's Houdini. That's the reason why he's successful everywhere. Is even when he's in trouble, that's the one guy you expect to get out of trouble and do just fine. And in a grinder type of event where the scores are depressed, he's another guy that can grind it out with the best of them. So there's no mystery to him contending here every year. It's a home course, just like for Scheffler. For me, it's just like I want to see a guy who's getting good odds to win, who I can actually picture winning this year.
Yeah. So one guy I kind of like this week is Brian Harmon, who is 35-1, and you talk about accuracy. Like, this guy is Mr. Accuracy. Like, not long off the tee, but he's going to be in the fairway all week. 3 top 10s here in the last 10 years.
Yeah, he should do fine here. I'm just trying to find him in my model. His approach has been really bad. That's the one thing that gets Brian Harman is he's a great putter. He has a good short game. He's accurate off the tee. But one of the worst on approach in this field for the approach distances I'm looking at between 125 and 175. He's at the very bottom. And that's wow. Weird for a guy who's basing his entire success on accuracy. That's how he was champion golfer of the year last year. He put it on the green, and that dude didn't miss a single putt that week. And it hasn't been the same this year for Brian Harman. It's not the same golfer that we saw last year when he was on a real heater.
Now, Harris English has 4 top 25s in his last 7 events. He finished 12th at Colonial last year and was runner-up here in 2016. He's intriguing. Sung Jae Im has been in pretty good form lately. 2 top 15s here in the last 4 years, although he's also missed the cut twice. Do either of those guys interest you at all?
Yeah, I think they all carry weight here. I'm looking at all of those guys you just mentioned right in that same top 10 area of my model. That's a really good sign. Those are strong picks, especially at their odds being pretty soft. These are guys that can definitely win this thing, especially in the grinded up type of tournament. I'm encouraged by Sung Jae Im's improvement the last few weeks. This is exactly the type of course he does well at, where off the tee accuracy is supreme and the approach distances aren't that long. He's going to be hitting a lot of short irons into these greens, and with a short iron, this guy's a pretty strong player, and if he can make any putts at all, Sung Jae Im should do just fine here. English is up there with me too, and of course Siwoo Kim he's kind of just having a really consistent year, which is a change for him. He's usually a really streaky player, but this year he's been consistently pretty good.
Yeah, that is normally he is the miss 3 cuts and then run up a couple of top 10s in a row.
I applaud him for working on his volatility.
All right, let's look at the odds on some of the mid-range options. Tom Kim, Chris Kirk, Billy Horschel, and Andrew Putnam are plus 5,000. Maverick McNeely, Keith Mitchell, Justin Rose, Austin Eckroat, Akshay Bhatia, and Adam Scott are all plus 5,500. Thomas Dietrich, Taylor Moore, Lucas Glover, Keegan Bradley, and Aaron Rye are plus 6,000. Daniel Berger is plus 6,500, and JT Poston is plus 7,000. Do you like any of the mid-range plays, Bo?
What a group. I'm looking at my model going, check, check, check. I'm going to be betting on 5 of those guys.
Wow.
Starting with Sepp Straka at 45-1. That guy is 10th in my model. Very, very accurate player. He shapes the ball well, right to left to right, up and down. I love guys like that. Ben Hogan said it himself. And if anybody knows about Colonial, it's Ben frickin' Hogan. Sepp Straka shapes the ball beautifully. He's the kind of guy who's dangerous here because in a grinded out type tournament, remember when he knocked down Shane Lowry on the back 9 at the Honda Classic? Very similar type tournament here. Tom Kim is next at 50-1. I think he was very, very impressive last week at Valhalla. He was more consistent, and despite not having the length off the tee, he held his own on approach and the short game. It didn't fall apart for him at Valhalla. I think is another great course for him because a comp course to this place is Sedgefield, where he got his first PGA Tour win. Austin Eckroat, 55-1, Akshay Bhatia, 55-1. Both of those guys are incredible plays for their value. Akshay Bhatia with a short iron in his hand might be the best player in the world. So if Akshay can go out there and place his ball at 125 yards and have a bunch of wedges into these greens, he could run away with this thing. That's how good he is if he's in the fairway. And he's been a lot better in that regard on these types of courses where maybe he doesn't have to hit driver off the tee. There's not very many driver holes at Colonial to begin with, and he's not going to be tempted to pull out the big stick to try to cut corners of doglegs because it doesn't happen here. The trees are too tall. Akshay is a really good shaper of the golf ball, again, just like Straka. I love Akshay Bhatia at a course like this, and the way he's playing right now it should take notice that he's still at 55-1. That's an incredibly soft line for a guy of his caliber. And another guy that's in the top 10 of my model, Aaron Rye, 60-1. It's number 6 in my model. He is number 1 in this field in opportunities gained over his last 24 rounds. That's better than Scotty. That's better than Colin. That's better than everybody in this field. Jordan Spieth, opportunities gained. Aaron Rye is filling that bucket. He's also great off the tee, accuracy wise. If he could get close to the close to these pins on approach, then we're looking at another guy coming from the back who could make a lot of birdies on a really tough course.
Your fondness for Austin Eckroat is music to my ears. I've had my eye on him like since I started looking at this tournament. 18th at the PGA last week, 16th here in his debut at Colonial, and like he showed he could close at the Cognizant Classic back in March, which he won. Accuracy. Very accurate, and while he might not be a Texas guy, Bo, Austin Eckroat is from Oklahoma, so he is a
they
regional
don't get along too
guy.
Well, though.
They don't. Hopefully, the crowd
he's gonna have some detractors in the crowd.
The gallery might throw some booze his way, but hopefully they won't hold that against him. I'm kind of intrigued by Thomas Dietrich. The Belgian has had 3 top 10s in his last 5 events, tied for 4th at the PGA, tied for 2nd at the Houston Open in late March, so he's already had some success in Texas. And last year in his Charles Schwab debut, he finished a respectable 21st. And Bo, you pointed this guy out last week as someone you liked, Justin Rose, who had been in poor form this year, but strong week at the PGA, finishing 6th. And he has a good track record at Colonial. Won here in 2018 and was 3rd in 2020, 12th last year. So maybe if he kind of came out of the doldrums at the PGA, he could potentially make noise this week. What about long shots, Bo? Anyone with odds of 75 to 1 or longer you're looking at?
Yeah, one of them popped up to me, and that was a guy that I didn't talk about when he choked away the win a couple weeks ago, Ben Coles at 250 to 1. That's the one I had my circle around. This guy's red hot. Showed up last week at Valhalla. This guy makes birdies on tough courses. He's a very accurate player. And yeah, the pressure got to him a few weeks ago. He should have won that tournament. But I think that as he gets more experience under his belt, this guy's really talented. We just saw him really chase that lead for 3 rounds at the PGA last week. I think he's destined to be an everyday type leaderboard player. And this is the kind of place where he can make some noise, especially with his short iron play. A very similar player from the right side as Akshay Bhatia, where if he can find his form off the tee, he's a very dangerous birdie making machine. As long as he can get off the tee relatively well.
Anyone else? Any real deep sleepers? You like that mid-range group so much. I can understand.
Yeah, the mid-range is going to get a lot of my attention. But I might take a stab at Chandler Phillips at 300 to 1. But the rest of these guys have just been in such terrible form that they're appropriately priced down there. So I had nothing really popped up on the top of my list here.
I was mildly intrigued by Charlie Hoffman at 150 to 1, but like if it was 200 or 250 to 1, because he's shown some signs of life this year, and Colonial has traditionally been a pretty good track for him, but 150 to 1, I'm not sure we're getting the right price for a long shot like that.
Yeah, pay attention to accurate guys like Ches Reavie is at 300 to 1. I'm not a huge fan of Ches Reavie, but he fits the course well. Troy Merritt's another one of those guys. Callum Tarrant, been pretty terrible all year, but his last appearance at a course like this, he was okay. Martin Laird, yeah, those guys are on the radar, but not enough for me to bet on.
So what do you have on your betting card?
All right, so my betting card is your guy, our guy, Max Homa, 22 to 1, and then I'm going to throw half unit bets and top 10 kickers on Sepp Straka, Tom Kim, Austin Eckroat, Akshay Bhatia, and Aaron Rai, and I'll take a deep shot on Ben Coles.
Oh, I don't have him yet. I might have to think hard about Sepp Straka, but you did talk me into Akshay, so as of now, I'm only putting 5.
I shouldn't have to talk you into our baby Bhatia.
I know. I mean, yeah,
that's my guy.
We've talked about him all year.
That is my guy.
So I'm taking Sungjae at 35 to 1, and then I'm betting 3 guys who are at 55 to 1. I'm going to put something on Justin Rose. I liked what I saw at the PGA. Austin Eckroat for sure, and Akshay. And then I'm also going to bet Thomas Dietrich at 60 to 1. So those are my 5 guys. Now, before we get to our one-and-done picks, if you're playing in a one-and-done golf pool, or if you're playing in any sort of tiers-based majors pool this year, our friends at Pool Genius have a new product that gives you an edge. Using objective data like betting odds, course performance, and national pick trends, the tool highlights the top value picks that give you an edge, and it can all be customized specifically for your pool. If you're doing a one-and-done pool or majors pool, let Pool Genius be your secret weapon. And by the way, Pool Genius isn't just for golf pools. You can use it for March Madness pools, NFL Survivor pools, and more. For 10% off on the majors tool and for up to 55% off on yearly packages that include all golf, football, and March Madness tools, visit poolgenius.com/fantasypros. Again, that's poolgenius.com/fantasypros. Now for our one-and-done picks. Last week of the PGA, Bo and I both tried to throw haymakers at each other. I had Brooks Koepka. He finished tied for 26th, good for $113,962. You took Scotty Scheffler.
And he got arrested.
Who got arrested.
Of course.
Who did tie for 8th, which in a major, that was good for $521,417. So you did make up some ground on me, Bo, about $400,000, but it probably wasn't the heavy punch you wanted out of Scotty Scheffler. The one time
I take the best golfer in the world, he gets arrested.
So I'm at about 6.7 million. You're just shy of 5.7 million, and you are up first this week. Bo, who you got?
So a lot has been said about Texas natives, Jordan Spieth, Scotty Scheffler, blah, blah, blah. How about Dallas native Tom Kim? Tom Kim is my pick this week.
Tom Kim. All right. We're going double Dallas here because I'm going to take Spieth. I just don't know where else I'm going to use him. And,
good choice. He has a great track record here.
Yeah. Even though the game doesn't fit, I mean, the guy's just booking top 10s at Colonial left and right. So
seems like he just enjoys being here, even if he's clanking it off the oak trees all day.
Yeah, it's home, Fort Worth, Dallas. He's home here. And that's going to do it for this week's show. I want to thank our sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. Sign up for Underdog with the promo code BPGolf to claim your special pick and to get a first-time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. And please come join Bo and I again next week when we'll be previewing the RBC Canadian Open, eating poutine, throwing back Labatt's Blues. Until then, so long, everyone.